Welcome back to Primetime Local News. Now, Buck, Oilers fans have had an interesting week as Yzerman is announced as the Detroit Red Wings' new general manager. Then people are wondering what's going to happen to Ken Holland, the longtime administration mainstay and legend in that program as well. He is, but he isn't. And now it seems to be a done deal, even though nothing's written on paper, that he will become the new GM of the Edmonton Oilers.
It surprised a lot of people when his name was tossed in there because you just kind of thought he'd be, I guess, moved up in the franchise in Detroit. And
he had that spot.
Yeah, he had that spot, and there's no way he's going to leave. And now all of a sudden, no, I still want to be a GM. And me being a GM, I kind of understand where he's coming from. You kind of want to still be part of that hockey operations thing on a day-by-day basis. I think he's a great fit in Edmonton. But there's so many other moving parts at Edmonton that have to be fixed. And if they give Ken the whole reins of the hockey operations and makes the changes that he wants to make, that he feels he should make, then I think this is a great thing. The first job, though, is to find a head coach.
And that is a obviously fluid position, has been for the Edmonton Oilers over the past decade. Do you have any inkling as to who he might go after?
Dave Tippett's name has come up a number of times. Great job he did in Phoenix. So I kind of think that would be a good fit for him there. I can't see anybody else, unless they bring Hitch back. But the players really despised Hitch. and that usually happens with Hitch. So I'd be surprised if Hitchcock comes back, and I think Dave Tippett's probably a good fit. Interesting
how many of the head coaches in Stanley Cup history that have won a championship that are certainly not player coaches and known in their years later. To the world of the Kentucky Derby momentarily, where it was one to remember, but not for the reasons you'd normally want to see.
There was interference. And the thing is, there's so much people in sports, and we've seen it at all levels, that video review comes in. You know what? If video review was looked at properly in the NFL, the outcome of one playoff game would have been completely different. And now you look at the Kentucky Derby, and we see this in chuckwagon racing where there's a video review or review after the races, and it took 20 minutes to determine which way. It is the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. It's hard to understand in 140 plus years of the Kentucky Derby, but yes, it was overturned, and the right horse did win in some people's eyes, and some people's eyes it wasn't right.
Well, and to that point, Maxim Security's owner is appealing the disqualification, so I don't know how long that process will take, but we could see this stay in the news cycle for a little longer.
Yeah, and it doesn't do great things for the Kentucky Derby. It doesn't great things. And the thing is, you have to think about the Triple Crown. How does this impact the Triple Crown? How do you go forward from the Kentucky Derby when there's so much controversy around the winner? So there's going to be a little bit of a star beside whoever wins the Triple Crown, if somebody does win the Triple Crown this year.
Back to hockey for just a second. Who are your picks to come out of the East and West at this point? Because what a wild event the playoffs have been.
Yeah, who would have thought the playoffs would be like this? But really, out of the West, you got to think San Jose. And out of the East, I don't really know right now. It could be anybody in the East. It's really tough to say. But right now, I say San Jose. I say they win and they go on to the Cup final. But it's hard. Who do you see from the East?
Well, I think just from the amount of headlines it'll generate, the Hurricanes, we still see jerks plastered all over the stands there. Really quickly, we got to plug your show. So what do we have coming up tomorrow on the sports show?
Yeah, Tuesday Night Sports Show, we'll talk about NHL playoffs. We'll talk Edmonton Oilers with former NHLer Rob Brown. Also, we'll talk CFL with a new voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Derek Taylor, and Riders long snapper Jorgen Hoos will join us. And we'll talk to the Lloydminster Running Club that has a big marathon coming up in June.
That is a name that I wish we get to say more often.
Jorgen Hoos.
Yes. It must have been a blast for every play-by-play announcer to announce that.
To get Hoos, the long snapper doesn't get a lot of play-by-play time. So.
Fair enough. Thank you once again, Buck. You can enjoy more now on Primetime Local News.